Have you ever wondered why some students study for hours every single day, yet still forget almost everything after the exam? Meanwhile, someone else studies for half the time and somehow remembers everything. Most people think the difference is intelligence. But what if I told you that's one of the biggest lies school has ever taught you? From the day we enter school, we're told the same thing. Study harder, spend more time with your books, and success will follow. So we reread our notes, highlight entire chapters, and pull late-night study sessions believing that more hours automatically mean better grades. But if studying harder really worked, why do millions of students still struggle to remember what they learned just a few days later? Here's the truth. The problem isn't your brain. The problem is the way you've been taught to use it. Schools teach you what to learn, but almost never teach you how your brain actually learns. And that one missing lesson quietly holds millions of students back, because the biggest lie isn't that you need to study more. It's that studying harder is the same as learning better. And once you understand why that's false, you'll never look at studying the same way again. Think about it this way. Imagine someone tells you that the secret to getting stronger is simply spending more time at the gym. So you sit on a bench for 6 hours every day, but you never lift a single weight. Sounds ridiculous, right? Yet that's exactly how millions of students study. They spend hours staring at textbooks, rereading the same pages, and highlighting sentence after sentence. It feels productive because they're busy, but your brain doesn't reward time, it rewards effort. Not physical effort, mental effort. The moment information starts feeling familiar, your brain tricks you into thinking you've learned it. Psychologists call this the illusion of competence. You recognize the information, but recognition isn't the same as remembering. And that's why so many students feel confident the night before an exam, only to freeze when they are asked to recall the answer without looking. So if spending more hours isn't the answer, what is? The science of learning points to something completely different, and it's probably the opposite of what you've been doing all these years. The real secret isn't reading more, it's remembering more. Every time you force your brain to recall information without looking at your notes, you strengthen the memory. Neuroscientists call this active recall, and it's one of the most effective learning techniques ever discovered. Instead of reading the same page 5 times, read it once, close the book, and ask yourself, what can I remember? At first, it will feel difficult, and that's exactly the point. Your brain grows stronger when it struggles to retrieve information, just like your muscles grow stronger when they work against resistance. The harder you make your brain think, the easier it becomes to remember later. That's why top students don't spend most of their time rereading. They spend it testing themselves, solving practice questions, and explaining ideas from memory. They aren't studying harder than everyone else, they're simply studying the way the brain was designed to learn. But there's one more thing almost nobody tells you. Even the best study method won't work if you only use it once. Your brain is designed to forget information it thinks isn't important. That's why reviewing what you've learned over time is so powerful. Spend just a few minutes testing yourself the next day, then again a few days later, and your brain starts treating that information as something worth keeping. So stop measuring your success by how many hours you study. Measure it by how much you can remember without looking. Because the biggest lie school ever told you was that studying harder automatically leads to better learning. It doesn't. Learning smarter does. And once you stop fighting your brain and start working with it, studying becomes easier, faster, and far less stressful. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Mindloom for more science-backed lessons on learning, productivity, and psychology. Until next time, learn smarter, not harder.